Hi everyone, my name is Laura and I'm from the KingsGate Community Church in Ham. And I wanted to share a short testimony of how God has provided for me in a time of real uncertainty and change. At the start of this year, my life looked very different to the one I had anticipated. My dreams and plans for the year had changed in the blink of an eye, and I was feeling very lost. I was feeling very anxious and very worried about what lay ahead. And in my times of prayer with God, his reminder to me was, first of all, to just be still and trust that he was God. And that's really hard for a doer like myself, to down tools and sit with God and just be in his presence. The best part about being with God was the gift of his peace. And the more time I spent with him, the more I felt a sense of peace for my future. His reminder to me as well was to commit my ways to him, and he will help me. So I began to put my hope and my trust and my prayers for my very uncertain future into the hands of a very certain God. I knew that for this year, I needed to trust for financial provision and financial security. I also knew it was a time for me to step up and start investing my talents. And I didn't know what that would look like or how God would show up. I just knew that I needed to trust him and believe that he had the next step in my future in hand. And a couple of weeks before lockdown, I got a phone call from the husband of a friend who shared that his company needed a copywriter. It was an ad hoc position, freelance, perfect for my skill sets and my talents. I could work around the jobs I was currently juggling, and I could also be there for my family. So it was wonderful in every sense of the word. And then they asked me to please put a figure to my day and hourly rate, which threw me completely because I had never ventured into the corporate world before with regards to copywriting. This was a brand new experience. I didn't know what to do. So I took it back to God. And one of the things he reminded me was, do you want to live a life of abundance or a life of just enough? And I thought, well, the answer's clear. Obviously, we want a life of wild abundance. And he also reminded me that I'd asked him for opportunities. And one of the things I had said to God was, if you open the door, I will walk through, and I will walk through boldly and bravely and with courage. So as I sat down and typed this email with my hourly rate, I did so with boldness and bravery, with courage. And I had spent a lot of time researching and asking friends for guidance and advice. But at the end, it came down to me, and I hit send. I felt a huge sense of relief until a moment later, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who's in the industry who said, what with your experience and your skill set in the corporate industry, I actually think this is your day rate and this would be a good one to start off with. And it was half of what I had put in the email. So I was promptly mortified and died 1,000 deaths thinking, I've completely oversold myself. What on earth do I do? And again, God reminded me, are you trusting me? You've asked for financial provision, and you've also asked for an opportunity to showcase your talent. So are you going to trust me in this instance, or are you going to claw back and go, actually, I sent you the wrong email. I'm horribly sorry. I've made a mistake. And I thought, fair enough. They can only say no, right? So I took a deep breath and let it go. And a few days later, I got an email from the company saying, here's your contract. We can't wait to work with you. It's a great reminder of just being able to trust God in a time of real uncertainty and change, of having to wrestle with putting something like our trust in his hands, and that's a really hard thing, and it's not something that comes easily, and that's okay. But the most important thing is to keep doing it and to keep praying and to keep believing, because he is faithful and he will provide. And my hope is that this testimony just gives you a short glimpse into how God has reminded me of who he is in my life, reminded me of what I am capable of, and reminded me of the opportunities he's able to create. The only thing he requires of us is our trust, and then our ability to move boldly, bravely, and with courage through those open doors of opportunity.